what I can't stand the unspoken rules, EDH and CDH. Like, what's the unspoken rule here, Chris? Like, can I bully this guy? It's unspoken. I'm here to win. Like, I'm here with, but hey, your face has got some ideas, and I want to get in that with you, Chris.
Yeah. Okay. Right into it. Da, 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 da. Dirty boy meta.
All right, guys, welcome back to Midweek Meta. I'm your host, Maddie, and I'm joined by my hand-up, wonderful man, Chris here. What's going on, man?
Not much. Enjoying life. We're getting here towards the end of January, so looking forward to some more sets coming out here soon enough. I mean, it's been a while since spoiler season's been around, and
I
I'm like,
know, right? It's so
I
weird.
got the itch. I
Yeah,
got
you're
the
like,
itch.
ugh.
We've been in it for so long. We're just like set after set after set, and I haven't seen a set for a minute. And I'm like, come on, where's the spoiler season? So I'm really waiting on the spoiler season
yeah,
right
dude.
now. That's really what I'm waiting on.
I'm so pumped for that, and I'm also pumped. Snowy Summit 2. Dude, I am so pumped to have it out there. Me and Nate. We got Jay. We got our buddy Caden. We got my buddy Jake. Guys, I'm so excited to head out to Denver. But as you got from the episode, I want to talk about something here. Play a very social game. If we both played 60 card formats, I'm here to win. I don't care what you do, I'm here to win. You don't get to do that. You're here to play a social. You know what's social and throws a lot of people off is the unspoken. And I want to get into that with you, Chris.
It's tough going to a new high school and not knowing you shouldn't wear those certain jeans. And it's the same kind of premise whenever you go to a new game store and you're like, oh, I can't play that card because that's not cool, right?
But you're that
The
guy. You're him.
Yeah, hey, we don't play overly competitive decks here. We're a little bit more chill, and what we play is power 3 or bracket 3 or whatever, right? And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what people are into and that's how they want to enjoy their time. But those unspoken rules of a shop, of a format, of a game, you know, and it's all about what, like you said, communication is big. But how do you know what you don't know? There's a couple different unspoken rules that we assume people know in CEDH and EDH, but we'd like to hear from you. What rules that we don't cover do you think are an unspoken rule that people need to know about?
And you know where they can leave those awesome remarks? Down below in comments after you
Sure.
subscribed. And also on our Discord, guys. We got
Come
a
on, join
Discord.
us. Yes,
Hey.
please join us
Please.
there. It's a great opportunity. Come on in. Let us know what deck are you playing currently and how long you've been playing CEDH. We'll be sure to hit you guys up and connect you. We should be jamming games here soon enough on Spell Table as well.
We're on there. We're jumping on there. We're going to talk to you guys too. We're here. We're in the Discord, guys. That's the biggest thing. It's a public Discord. We're going to comment back. We're going to hit us back, like us, at us, and we'll back to you. So let us know if you want to know. But you said unspoken here. We've talked about it before. Well, Chris, as I started at the top of the show, one of my biggest pet peeves is the unspoken and social rules of Magic, and when people don't talk about them. We're playing a game that is based on Okay, well, it's based on Magic. It's 100% Magic, but we're playing 4 player. Richard Garfield didn't plan on 4 people playing this at the same time, or maybe he did. Maybe this is big. I'm just, that would be cool. That would be no. But he didn't plan on 4 people being like, all right, if you stop him here, I won't swing my 2/6/6s with infect at your face and kill you. If you can stop him, because why wouldn't you just kill the player and go for the next person? But you can't do that if that guy gets his win attempt off. But it's the whole unspoken rule. You got to talk about that. But
Sure.
you don't get that in a 60 card format. You get that in our format of EDH and CDH. And well, not our format, but what we mainly focus here on Turning Point Meta, which is what we like. It's what we enjoy. And unless you can give me a valid 100% reason to drop CDH and play Modern and Standard, I'm all yours, which you can tell me in Discord. But one of the big things here that don't get me wrong, you can ignore these and still play the game. You can be, I'm here to play Magic. I play Llanowar Elves. I play Lathril Blade of Elves. Resolve, okay. You don't have to make deals. You can just play the game. You can be this monotone. and that's why I'm not going to keep this energy because it's like no one want to listen to that. But that's what I'm saying is you can be, you don't have to listen to anybody, you don't have to talk to anybody, but you talk to people and make the deals or say, okay, I won't swing this turn at you. Before we jump into these rules that we have, do you have any more thoughts on unspoken?
Let's jump into it. Like,
Okay.
what do you consider your number one biggest unspoken rule?
I'm gonna rip the bandit off here. My number one, scooping at instant speed.
Okay.
You can do it. It's 100% rules as written. You can do it anytime you want. You can concede. I do it all the time in arena. If I get screwed, I do the wrong mulligan, I scoop. I do the wrong thing, I do it, I scoop. I make the wrong play, I scoop. Because I can do fast. But when I'm playing EDH and CDH, you know when I scoop? At sorcery speed when I have priority. And I don't do that unless there is a reason to leave. I have to go, or I gotta go like the bathroom. Like there's no reason. Or if you don't go to the bathroom, you'd be like, you guys, I gotta go to the bathroom. Hang on for like 5 minutes.
Sure.
But scooping, and so you asked that. Why does it bug me? Scooping at instant speed turns a game that could be, oh man, he's going for it. He gets stopped. I scoop. Okay, well, me and player 3 and 4 just burned all our resources stopping you so player 2 wins. It's well, that can happen no matter what. That's gonna happen. That can happen, but it's even worse where player 3 might have not been able to save his own attempt, but he could have stopped another attempt. He could have forced a vigor, or there's a lot of things he could have done. But when you just I scoop and you just leave, it creates this void, and it just ruins the game. It ruins the vibe. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be that person, but the vibe of the game is ruined. I'm done playing. Like it's over. And I want your opinion here. Like, talk to me. Like, what's your thoughts here?
No, absolutely. No, I think there's a couple different nuances to it. So like Tivit, for example, you kind of need 4 players at the table to win. I know that Bruce used to play it, and he's like, I can't take it because sometimes there's pods of 3, and then one of my win lines doesn't really do what it should do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Or you
that's
speak of Malcolm decks. I'm sorry, I don't want to forget that. Malcolm,
yeah,
Glenhorn Bucket. I could not remember all day. I was thinking. I was like, what is
Malcolm
that
Bile.
combo? The Malcolm Glenhorn Buccaneer because it's a pirate. I was like,
So that's why some people do the teamer version with that, because if you have Kinnan, it doesn't matter.
oh, okay,
E- each one that you make, you just sack it and discard a card
yeah, okay,
and
that
draw
makes
a
sense.
card. So that's one reason why people like Teamer a little bit more, is because you can run Kinnan in it as well. Doesn't matter. So
Okay,
if you're going more in on the Buccaneer line, which is very reasonable. So yes, sometimes the win lines get screwed up. The other thing is, if you just scoop because you're embarrassed or because you're mad that you didn't get your second land drop and it's turn 4, turn 5, it happens. It happens. Um, what it really does is all the interaction that you could be drawing to stop this other person to be able to get back into the game, turn 8, crazy, but we're kind of in a mid-range hell right now. It's definitely possible. I think there was a game that you and me played with Nate where I don't think I drew a third land for quite a while, but I'm pretty sure I won that game
yeah.
because eventually I got down an engine. People underestimated me. They let me draw stuff. They didn't pay for my Ristics. Like, oh, we feel bad for him, and I'm gonna win the game now.
How many games have you hear the comment like our commentary? I hate this game. I need lands. Chris will give you about that, but it's too. I love this game. I do love this game. This is one of my favorite games. But when you scoop, it even sours my taste, man. Like it, I unless you gotta go, sit your down. We're finishing this game. I'm sorry,
Sure.
like leave me out there, Chris. But like, I'm here to play a game, man. And if we spent the last 45 minutes and we stopped you and you scoop, you're not playing again, man. Like I don't want to play with you again. Like it ruins my vibe with you.
Sure.
And that's why it's number one. That's my number one unspoken rule. And I talk about that with people. Like I understand things happen. Just scoop at sorcerer speed. That's all I ask. But like you said, Chris, what's your number one? What is your
My
number
nu-
one?
my number one rule, unspoken rule, is don't kick the person that's in last place. Don't kick the horse that's in the last place. It's already in last place. With it being 4 people playing, it's 1v3. If you just keep like, okay, you can't get a Ristic study, you can't get this, you can't get this, while everyone all has an engine and this and that, and there's everyone has 20 lands and this person only has 3 lands or something like that. Say craziness, right? Even on an EDH, like, why are we stopping this person's Ristic? Like, if he's able to, you know, get back into the game, he's able to then draw counter spells to fight this guy that now has 20 cards because he has 8 different engines on. Crazy, number. So you can make that person a friend. Hey, I'm not going to counter this because I want you to be able to get stuff. I'm actually not going to pay for your heuristics so that you can get cards to counter this person. Use individuals to your advantage. You are in it together with them, saying, we don't want to lose.
Oh yeah,
Be my
like
friend.
how many times I've been playing a Tymna deck and I can be like, homie, let me swing this 1/1 Bowmaster at you, draw a card so I can find an answer to player 3. Like I
Right.
know you're so far behind, man, but it's 1 damage. I'll take a damage too. We're both taking the damage. Hey, there you go, man. Like I've been there before, but I want to caveat that. I'm gonna a little bit argue here.
Okay.
When we're playing CEDH here, I'm not gonna say counter the risk city of the person that does nothing, but we've played enough games for someone that has done you've played against me that has done nothing, and I'm like, I win, I win. So you have to take both sides there. But I think
You have
as
to
a
be smart.
yes, you
Yeah.
have to be smart. But I think as a good social rule, don't don't kick the kid down already. Don't. He's already down, man. Don't like.
Don't take out both of his mini rocks when he's missed 2 land drops. What are we doing? What a
No,
loser.
no, no, no. You better leave this in. Like Chris in the editing room, leave this in. Homie, jump in the Discord so we can talk about this. But Jay made the smart decision. We all looked at my hand. Like I had game. I had game. If I got to my turn with that mana, it was over. Like it. So, but that's right there. The spite playing, and that will take into my what you said is like kicking that player when they're down goes into you're down. Don't scoof, dude. Like I know it sucks, but you might be able to pull out. We've all seen it. Like and EDH, it doesn't happen quite as much because once you're so far behind, it's even in CDH, it's so hard to crawl back against. You talked about it. Bruce over here playing Thrasios Rog. For some odd reason, he can sneeze, and all of a sudden he's making 18 mana in a turn. You're like, "What are you doing? What did you do over here, dog?" And he's like,
Sure.
yeah, Thrasios 6 times." You're like, "I hate you. I
You
hate
have to
you."
be smart about who you're giving it to, but if it's a control player that's missed their land drops and their win isn't just a sneeze, I win the game, giving them a card or two when they have nothing and they've been, and they don't have any lands on an early turn, like there's nothing horribly, horribly wrong. Once again, you want to be smart about it.
Okay, what's your number 2, man? Give me your number 2.
Let's see, number 2. The unspoken rule, and this is a huge thing from EDH to CDH, and some people don't understand it, and it takes some of our newer individuals just to understand it. Okay, play to win until you know you can't win, and then play to draw. A lot of people, it's an unspoken rule in CEDH specifically. Okay, in EDH, we're playing a 3-hour game. There's really not too many different time limits. We're playing to win day in and day out, right? In CEDH, we're awarded points for draws and for wins, but not for losses. So I would much rather, and it's an unspoken rule. People are like, wait, why would I not kill Chris right now? It's like, well, because if you kill Chris, then he's going to pop off. So you might as well keep
Yeah.
Chris around so that we can make sure that we go to time. Because if it's not coming back to you, dude. It's not coming back to you. So you can't win. So you just kill a person and give away the game. It's like, no, let's be a little bit smarter. Let's attack that person, give Chris a card, make Chris not die so that he can interact and stay in the game. It comes down to, cool, I attempt to win, and then everyone uses their stuff on me that goes to the next person, they win.
Oh yeah.
Not necessarily a winning line. Once again, sometimes not going for the win when you think you can win and just saying, I know they have interaction, and if I try to go for the win, I'm just giving the game to the other person. So the unspoken rule is like not going for it because you're going to give it away to the other person. In EDH, cool, sleeve up next game. For us, we just gave that person 5 points,
Yeah.
and now we have 0. Where we could have had 1, and that could be the difference between winning and getting into the top seats or not. So it's an unspoken rule because people that come from EDH to CDH are like, you're king making. No, no. I'm trying to get 1 point instead of 0 points.
Yeah.
That's very easy math. It's very binary.
And
Ones and zeros.
I want to quickly be a devil's advocate here, and I hope you do it to my points too. But I
Sure.
think if you sit down to play CDH, that you're just playing CDH to play CDH. That's totally fine. And that's where you can be a little bit. There could be a little king making in those situations. But me and Chris play a lot of, and the way we play is to play tournament based. How are we going to play in a tournament? We want to play to our best
Points.
to our points. We always in a sense look to play at points, but like if we're just jamming CDH games, we can just jam a CDH game. We have them on gameplay channels. That's what we do. Like that's why we have gameplays. But we all make the rule. We all when we sit down to play, I look at you, you look at Nate, I look at Brick, I look at Jay. Play to win, play to win, play to win. Cool. Well, we've seen on the channel, I'm playing for the draw. That's fair. That was the point. If there was a chance of a draw, we didn't know you had it. Like there should have been more politicking. It's like you said though. It's you got to talk about that. Like if you Jay would have been like, "Hey, I'm doing this to you. I'm going to take out these," or kept up interaction for you. There would have been the conversation would have been a different thing.
Sure.
But flip side of that, when you talk over someone, that is my unspoken thing. Like I'm
Your number two
sorry.
rules.
What?
That's your number two.
Yeah, my number two unspoken rule that bugs me is talking over somebody else when you don't have priority or you're the active player. Like I know we're
Okay.
all playing a social game, but like a lot of us play this game in a tournament. Like you miss one of my biggest things is I want to make sure is that you miss triggers when you're talking over people or talking to someone outside the game when you're not the active player. Like I hate to say it, like when we jump down to play a game, when people show up to the shop and they see us like right in the open, I don't know if you've noticed, I kind of put us away from the door right away. So people see us, so they have to come find us. They have to come. They can't
Sure.
just be like, oh, the front door, hey, because it's cool to say hey to people, but like, I'm sorry if you're in the middle of doing a crazy stack interaction and I need player three to pay attention and counter the spell here, but we play tournament mindset, so we want to play focus. And you say resolve, pass, and he passed, but you can't take it back. That's you
Sure.
passed.
Sure.
It's that weird like you don't want to overstep on somebody, but like what's that's my thoughts there. What's your thoughts on that rule?
We'll play some devil's advocate. So
Or
in CDH and EDH in general, your objective really is to make sure that everyone likes you. If you start a game where everyone doesn't like you and they're like, I'm gonna make sure this guy doesn't win the game, like your points don't necessarily go up. Having someone like you and listen to you is very important. So saying, "Oh, dude, I like your playmat," when we're all just playing lands can be a benefit to you.
oh yeah,
Complimenting someone is like, "Oh wow, yeah, I spent 3 hours looking for this thing on Etsy. It's freaking amazing. I love this deck so much." Do you know how many brownie points that can get you?
oh yeah, 100%.
Now, obviously, you don't want to be over the top. I think there's definitely a level that gives you more win percentage, slightly. And once again, being F and M CDH, okay, we're here to have fun. I think if you're in the tournament mindset, I think maybe leaving it to a couple seconds. If you guys are having full blown conversations, I think it's definitely an unwritten rule because it's a little bit disrespectful for the person thinking. Because you're like, okay, what's the line? Can you guys like be quiet? I have to be the bad guy to ask you to be quiet
Well, yeah,
right now.
you feel like a jerk. You feel you're like oh or like if someone's player four's player two's thinking in the tank trying to go player three and one are about the soul ring the mat and player four is like, can you take a game action? And the worst part is they're gonna look like the jerk, but it's the truth. Like, come on, we're at somewhere. It's you got to, and that's where this rule comes from. It's you've taken someone else's time and wasted it.
Sure.
This is a very time consuming game. 100%. We get in the tank. We think of these lines. Anala, isn't it like a
Yeah.
35-step combo? That deck is crazy. Like it's like I don't understand anything you're doing. But if someone's talking over while he's in the middle of a thing and I miss the point where I could interact, it gets muddy when you're trying to pay attention to what he's happening, but player three and four are talking, and player three is F6. He's done. He's not paying attention. Pass. But it just ruins the. It just ruins it. I hate to say it. This is why these unspoken rules are big ones in my opinion. These are the ones that can definitely ruin games. And I think talking over someone, like especially or when politicking, how many times have you been like, "Hey man, don't counter my spell here," and it's like, "Oh, you listen to this guy? He's ahead." Well, okay, dog. How about you don't cut me off? That's a little rude. And I get that, but it's like don't talk over someone like when they're trying to discuss something. You got your
Sure.
opinion. Like be an adult here. We're all adult. Well, I guess this is 13 plus. We are all 13 plus year olds here. We all understand manners and respect. So
Sure.
let's act like it. Let's act like teenagers and say, "Hey, listen, I'm speaking. It's my turn. I have the speaking stick, which is called priority." And when I say
Sure.
pass, 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 then you can decide. But no,
Sure.
what about you, Chris? What? Okay, give me number three. What's your unspoken?
My unspoken rule. So my unspoken rule, once again, from EDH to CDH. In CDH, anything goes. You want to do land destruction? Go for it. You want to do stacks? Go for it. You want to do Blightsteel Colossus? Go for it. You want to do Overrun? You want to do the things that are degenerate that people don't want to do? Fine, go for it. Understand it's going to be a 3v1 if it's degenerate enough. Understand people have free counter spells. Understand that you might make people really mad because all that your deck does is just draw the game, and 5 draws doesn't get you to top 16. Okay. Okay, cool. Anything goes. Anything goes.
Yeah,
Anything goes. Any card, any archetype, play it. If it's competitive and it can win the game, play it. That's fine. Please don't just do something that just stacks out the game and then you just you purposely draw the entire game. That's not very cool. Um, but anything does go in CDH, and that's kind of one of those things where in EDH and Kitchen Table, they're like, "Oh no, you can't do land destruction. You can't do this. There's a rule zero. There's a rule zero. There's no rule zeros. Play what you want.
it's play
Play
to
what's
win.
competitive.
That's the rules here. I'll play to win.
Play. We just want you to play the most competitive version of whatever commander you choose, and any commander can and should be CEDH. Some are more viable than others. Some win more than others. Some just sit around and don't do anything. You want an engine. You want some card draw. You want a win con. Normally, those are what you expect in a CDH commander. Maybe there's some other ones I'm not thinking of, but that's the unspoken rule from EDH to CDH is play whatever you want. It's unspoken. You don't need to worry about, and that's one reason why to come
Well,
to
I'm gonna cut off that
CDH.
real quick. Reddit says I should only play the top 8 commanders. Okay, if you're not playing those, then you're not playing CDH.
Listen, I was playing Magda when it wasn't even top 20.
Okay, boomer.
So
Okay,
I
boomer. I was
I'm just
playing
saying
Magda
that,
when it wasn't even CDH.
and that wasn't even that long ago. That wasn't that long ago, and now it's a top deck apparently. And it's like,
No,
oh,
100%. Like
oh okay,
I got you here. Like you said, we're bleeding devil's advocate. I got to give you a little bit opposite, but I agree. Play what you want, but you said you nailed it on the head there. Make it competitive though. Make it
please
don't. And I'm not
play to
saying
win,
play to
play to
win.
win,
Play to win,
play to
yeah.
win.
And I'm not saying I saw a guy actually speaking at Snowy Summit. Shout out again, MTG Basic. I'm so excited to see you guys again out there this at the end of the month. But there was a guy playing Oswald Fizzlepen, and he said people keep complaining about his deck, and he's like, well, yeah, it's a stacks deck, and it looks super complicated, but if I start the engine and I go, then I've got it. But I have to lock everybody else out before I can get there.
Sure,
And if you guys spend 40 minutes stopping step 2 in the plan, well, that's it. I gotta lock the whole board. Looks like
sure,
I'm going to a draw. And it's like, all right, that makes sense. Like that combo, like that, like not combo, but that line. I get that. And it's like you back to your first rule with that pivoting. It's or second rule. It's the pivoting. It's when you got to decide play for the draw or play for the win, or
sure.
go from playing for the win to the draw.
But always try to play for the win until
Yes.
you feasibly really can't, and
Yeah.
then it's I need the point, and I don't want to give 5 points away to someone else.
How many
Yeah,
of us have flipped our decks looking for fierce guardianship or pack of negation so we can stop an attempt on the line because it's like, hey, I guess I'll flip here to stop this. I'm throwing my attempt out the window here. So like, please. And I guess that ties back into talking over someone. If you haven't built up that respect and trust with somebody, there's no way you can ask someone, hey, I'm going to throw my library out the door to stop this guy draw after this. If I do this, will you draw?
Yeah.
Because like that's how the point of tournaments like that happens. But speaking of deals, the aftermath. That's one of my unspoken rules. We are all CEDH players here, well, majority of us here, and we understand we do 1, 2, and 3, 9, 10, 11 is going to happen. We think steps ahead. Well, we try to. We all try to. There's all you can't do. But when you can make a deal with somebody, and if you're making the deal and it's blatantly that you were literally screwing someone on this deal, but they don't realize it, you're the problem. You're the bad guy. And I'm not talking about using your advantage like, oh man, I won't swing at you this turn, but I can just make my stock outlet and win my turn. Like that's fine. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, oh yeah, you should definitely board wipe because that's the best thing to hear. And it just got talked about, and then they're like, oh no, I'm not gonna do this instead. And then they do it, and you're like, okay, well, you just said you weren't. Like, I have no more trust in you. The deal's done. The aftermath of this deal is over. So my big issue with deals is the aftermath. Like you say, hey, I'm gonna destroy the board. Don't attack me. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to attack you. But when you destroy the board, he's just gonna Protean and Hulk and win. If you know that and you don't say anything, power to you as a player. You're supposed to. Don't say anything as you're trying to win. But as you're seat 3 and 4 and you don't say anything and you're giving it to somebody else, that's the problem. Yeah, it's I made a deal with you. Well, you
And you
said
need to stick to it.
you need to stick to it. That's what I guess I'm trying to get to. It's the
Okay, the
aftermath.
unspoken rule.
That's the unspoken rule. I'm not saying we're all to be lawyers here, push up the glasses. All right, well, you said in subsection B you'll be done after this. Well, you
Sure.
did. That's it. You break that deal, you're done. And in that game, that's going to happen. But outside that game, at that tournament, you are now known as a deal breaker. The unspoken thing is, you break that rule, you break the deal. Everyone's gonna know. You have to realize you become that person. We have someone famous for it, Wounded Satellite. He has made people not break deals, but he is so vicious with people. Everyone doesn't want to play against him. He's not. It's the unspoken. It's the aftermath of your dealing, your politicking. That's where I'm at. That's my unspoken. Is what do you do? What your reputation is. No one talks about that. Like everyone talks about, oh Matt, you're so friendly. Yeah, because I don't ever want someone to talk about me. Oh Matt, dude, that kid with the dreads, he's a jerk. He doesn't do anything with his deals. You're taking your name into the ground. If you, but there's also people like
You're losing your street cred.
yeah, you're losing your street cred. But there's also people that lie in CDH, and that's what this ties back to. We don't like to lie. Like it's the point. Like, if I tell you I'm not going to win here, I'm not going to win here. And if I win here, cool, I won here, and you're going to talk about it, and that's the unspoken rule. People will. There's the aftermath of any deal. It doesn't matter, but you have to realize that things will happen no matter what.
Sure.
And this guy could be one of the nicest guys, and he was just having an off day, but it's his reputation's gone. Like we've seen it. That's my unspoken rule. You have to deal. The aftermath of a deal can affect you after the game, and that's not talked about. That's not what's talked about. Is
Okay.
the aftermath of the deals of a game can change who you are seen as a player.
Sure.
So
Once again, communication. If you make a deal, talk to the person that you made a deal with. Hey, I didn't know this before. I actually have this in hand. Is it okay if I do this?
oh yeah,
Because I don't want to scare any new players from like, oh, if I made a deal, I'll just stick to it exactly.
100%. Like,
that.
and
Yeah.
we're all here to win. Like the whole like, oh, I didn't know I could win. That is like a famous line, and that has happened. But if you look at everybody like straight up to the face, oh, I can't win. I can't win. But if you say, show me your hand, and they're like, oh no, I can't win. But if you act weird about it, no one's gonna make that deal with you. You're gonna be known
Sure.
as that weird, like, yeah, I don't trust his deals. But like you said, oh, I'll just pay for let me hit you for one, I'll draw a card. Yeah, that draw the card might win me the game, but I didn't make a deal I wasn't gonna win the game. I said, let me find an
Sure.
answer. The answer could be a win. Like that. I hate that. People have to understand that. That's a big one right there.
I hate that one. I hate that one so much, but it is.
But it comes
Yeah.
with the little C of CDH. No, but that's the biggest thing, and I hope that makes sense to everybody. Play to win, 100%. I'm not gonna deny that. Like, say if I have a one ring, I'm like, oh, I'm not trying to win. I just gotta draw cards. If I draw my win and I can attempt it, I'm gonna look at it and be like, I guess I'm trying here. Like it's what it is. Like and that's the downside. And you just look at the player and be like, hey man, I did not I did not attempt it. I did not know I was gonna have that in hand. It's like our last video with Adam and Ashton with the pact, and we all made the deal. Flip the top of your library, and he flipped Flare of Duplication. Like that was crazy. Like that was like, oh,
He stuck to the
okay.
deal.
Yeah,
He stuck to the
he
deal.
stuck to the deal, and but that also has its own caveats. But Chris, that's my three unspoken. You give me yours, and I think the biggest thing you kind of nailed on the head. They all tie back to is communication. Even though we're playing to win and we're being kind of cutthroat and we're trying to be vicious and be there to win, communication. It's in anything we do in life, anything business, work, personal communication. And I think as a group we can say if you just ask the questions, you're probably going to get the answer you want. Well, not answer you want, the answer you need.
Communication, respect, and making sure that you reserve your own honor
Mhm.
within it with whatever rules and however you conduct yourself. That's really what it comes down to.
So cringe saying honor, by the way. Dude, but it is true. It really is. It's having the honor of being known as a player. Like I'm sorry, like there's certain players like I sit down to play with and I'm excited to play with them because I know how they play. But that's the biggest thing. And I'm always gonna fall back to this. Just remember to always be confident and not condescending. And we'll catch you guys next week. But you know what? You guys can catch us on our Discord. Links down below. But you guys have a great week. We'll catch you next time.